what I'd like to do is, if before we really dive into the content, if you guys would take just a few minutes each and introduce yourself, anything you want to say about your personal lives or upbringing, how you got into real estate, how long you've been in business, what your production goals are. Just give us a feel for who you guys are.
Perfect. So I'll start since I was the first one in real estate. So,
but I was the firstborn. So I should. Just kidding.
So our dad did land development and construction our whole life. So when I was in high school, he did his first subdivision in Pleasant View in probably like 2003, 2004. And I noticed how much money he was making and how easy it seemed. So I actually got licensed as soon as I turned 18. It was the summer that I turned 18. I got my real estate license. I went to real estate school at Schleininger with my mom. And I soon got into the business, was working for a team doing new construction and setting model homes. It was quick lesson learned that people do not take an 18-year-old serious when it comes to real estate. So let's just say I was in and out of it, ended up having I ended up
Someone's not muted.
Whoever just joined us, make sure to mute yourself, please.
Yep. Right.
Thank you. We can hear you hard at work. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Keep pounding that keyboard. Make offers, lots of them. So anyways, got into it in 2007, assisted a top producer full-time as her right-hand woman. And I learned a ton about what to do, what not to do. Soon after I started, the crash of the economy happened. So I literally learned how to work super hard to make every deal happen. It was very humbling times. I was very grateful to A, have a job, and B, still doing real estate. And when the market started coming back, I was ready to spread my wings. And every year since then, I've made over $250,000.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Mandy.
Yeah, okay, so hi. It's crazy, Mandy. Okay, so to give you a little bit of a breakdown, like Shannon said, we are sisters. For those of you that didn't know, we're sisters. So our dad was a builder our entire life. We grew up on job sites. We loved the smell of sheetrock. We loved the smell of cut lumber. And we used to work on every job site as a kid because our parents were divorced. So I think just something about a house being a home and somewhere comforting and somewhere where we spent time with our dad and felt loved, it was just such a big part of our upbringing that is just so crazy that it's a big foundation for where we are today. You know what I mean? Of where we started and where we fell in love with the home. I actually started managing 5 small construction companies for about 8 years. And when the economy tanked, obviously you can no longer be managing something that is a dying cause. So it got really depressing for me to sit there and watch and do the finances for all these companies that I cut the checks to even the boss, and I'd be the last one to deposit my checks because I knew there wasn't any money. They hadn't collected enough money. They owed vendors for this. It was just very depressing. And I was working 60 hours a week, and I was making $26,000 a year from all these companies. And I was giving my life and my soul, and I was working till midnight. And my son and my husband would come and, see me for dinner on the couch. And then I would go home at midnight. Like, I was giving my life and soul to this company. It just clicked to me. Like, if I worked this hard for myself and I went over and I joined Shannon doing what she's doing, I'd be successful. You know what I mean? Because I know anyone that works as hard as I did and was able to develop systems the way I did. I mean, I ran these companies. I went in and developed all these company systems, and they would have been successful had the economy not tanked. But so I went in and I joined Shannon. She was assisting. I got my license, and I literally just went all in. I quit my other jobs, and for about the first year, I had to borrow money from my dad to survive. I mean, it was bad. It was really hard. You did 2 deals? I did 2 deals within my first 6 months within the first year. And I remember the first deal I ever did was $60,000, and I showed up and
the sales price was 60,000.
Yeah,
not
60,000, not commission. The sales price.
Let's clarify that.
In downtown Ogden.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it may or may not have tested positive for meth, but it was an investment for these guys. So whatever. And I remember it was the very first house I showed and the very first clients I ever met with. And I just told myself, fake it till you make it. And I wrote a contract the very first time I showed a house. Awesome. From then on, it took a while to get another one, and it takes a while to get going. Shannon had her duties as an assistant, so I was off to the side trying to like get a career going out of this, which I learned took a lot longer to be taken serious in real estate than you would think, as I'm sure you all know.
Well, and it wasn't the market it is today either.
No, it wasn't. You had to work, and I went to work every single day and literally only did 2 deals in my first year. Eventually, yeah.
I was gonna say, I actually think that's a perfect intro to this, because it's interesting, you know, to hear you guys looking from where you are. I think it's so easy for people to look at you guys and say, hey, they're successful. This is easy for them. It's always been easy for them. When you look at what it was that drew you to the business, it's like so many people, it's, hey, there's an opportunity to make a lot of money in real estate. And the idea of, I can do this. No one joins, you know, no one decides to get into real estate thinking, I can't do this. Everyone joins that thinking they can. But the truth of the matter is I think almost every realtor shares your story up to the point of saying, I want to make money and I can do this, but something different happened for you, because the truth of the matter is the majority of realtors don't make it past that. They have a totally different story of, they get in, they get frustrated, they can't figure it out, they get out. Where you guys got in, same obstacles, same opportunities, and flourished. Walk me through a little bit about what you think set you apart there, that gave you the opportunity to flourish, other than getting frustrated and getting out of the business like everybody else.
Well, I think for one, we believed it. We always knew we could make it to the top. Like, I was never a question. I know to some of you guys that might sound very conceited, but I think in my heart, I just know my destiny, and I know that we could do it together. But I knew that we had to form a team. So actually, that goes back to, she was so scared to leave her 9-to-5 assistant job.
Well, because I was still doing deals on the side. So I made a salary, plus I did like 18 deals on the side and went to school full-time doing college. So I was making good money and thought I wanted to kind of venture and do a different career. Then I started just doing really good, and then Amanda ended up.
I'm like everything. I'm the one that's
she encouraged me to get out of my shell.
Once again, you know, that's not the only time I've had to pull her kicking and screaming. Marcus, you know that means. Yeah. But you know what? I think it just really came down to, I knew already, and I think Shannon as well, for as hard as we worked for other people, we were destined to succeed. If we just worked
and I think what makes the difference is that we care. We truly care. It doesn't matter if we're working for other people, meaning they're our boss, because now our clients are our bosses. And at the end of the day, me and Amanda just care so much about these people and our relationships and what their goals are and their dreams, because we know how important ours are, that we really try to make sure that we give them the time and attention and professionalism, and really connect with them on a deeper level than most people just kind of look at them as a number. And we don't. We truly look at this as, this is our career. We don't want to wham bam, thank you, ma'am. We don't want to be cold calling till we're 60 or whatever. Like, I really want just referrals to be pouring in. So you do have to create those raving fans, and it's making sure that they know they are cared about.
But I think part of like how that happens is we are very true to who we are as people, both in our professional and our personal level. However, we bring our personal and authentic self to our profession. Yeah. So in other words, you know, Shannon attracts her kind of clients that are a little more reserved, and I attract my kind of clients, but yet we can
that are a little bit more crazy.
Outgoing, and don't mind that I hug them the first time that we meet. I'm like, listen, you know, I really do that. Every time, you know, I meet a client, I hug it out with them, and I'm like, listen, if you don't feel comfortable hugging it out with me, maybe I'm not your person, because this is one of the biggest transactions of your life, and it's one of the most emotional processes. So we have to be able to get into that bubble and have to be real with each other.
So that was the thing, is we do want to stay true to ourselves. So connecting with people on that personal level. It's funny because when I transferred over to Keller Williams, I took that KPA test, and Darlene actually didn't want to send it to me because she's like, oh, don't like be scared of what it says. And it actually had like mega agent as like the lowest common thing to me. And I'm like, well, I did 66 deals last year. So just because I'm not doing it the way everybody typically does it, I'm doing it in a way that's true to myself, and it obviously must be working.
Right.
I think that's a great point, because I think a lot of people get frustrated that they don't feel like they're wired a specific way to succeed, and that's just a guideline, really, of it's really what drives you to succeed, that allows you to succeed at the level you want to succeed at. And I think you guys hit that earlier, saying, you were at a point where you decided it was something you could do, you visualized it, you knew you deserved it, and it really didn't matter what skill set or opportunities or models or relationships you needed to accumulate to get there. You were going to get there. In your mind, it was already done.
Yeah. Right. But I will put a pun in there right there, because still to this day, even at the level that we're at, I still work 85 hours a week. So, I mean, coming back to it looks easy. Well, that's our job. We try to make it look easy. But what we do is effective in a sense that we're doing levels. I only work that much because we just barely hired a team. Coming over, at the beginning of this year, I mean, we did 141 deals ourselves last year, the two of us, like literally, and I had a part-time assistant. So, I mean, our life has been crazy, and now we're kind of going through those growing pains of learning systems that Keller Williams offers, of leveraging and hiring out the things that don't make you money but have to be done. I think, part of that comes down to, we're very picky on who we pick to carry our brand, you know what I mean? Because we want them to have the same vision as us. We want them to care about our clients as much as we do. And we want our clients to learn to love our talent as much as we do. You know what I mean? So yeah, we are kind of those growing pains, but that is another thing, is it's not easy, but the way we do it is very effective, and it's worth it, because you're right. We don't get on the phone and we don't cold call. We don't do the normal stuff.
One thing that I would say is, it's always good to be approachable. And so right. I feel like me and Amanda don't make talking about real estate or being in real estate like, oh God, if you even talk to her, she's just going to talk your ear off about real estate, try to get you to buy or sell. Like, we're not that. I would say we're very passive aggressive with our marketing efforts and how we do go about getting business, where it's not wham, like in your face.
To be honest, actually, I'll tell you, it's so funny, because I tell Shannon all the time, I'll be somewhere and business just comes to us, whether it's the Tony Robbins manifesting your reality and your positive affirmations, or really it is just being approachable and being specialized enough to where people think of real estate and they think of you, because we can not only be ourselves and be really fun and wild, but we know what we're doing and we know what we're talking about, and everything is very strategic, and it's for the better of our business long term. Like, you know what I mean? And that just kind of luckily comes natural. I think we got to give a shout out to our dad for that.
Yeah, he couldn't go to the grocery store and have it be a quick trip. It was always like an hour, because he knew everybody.
And I think that's the same with us. People just think of us and think of real estate, and they bring it up themselves, which makes it even easier because they're bringing it up. It's not uncomfortable for us. So then we can educate.
Well, and I would say, if you're a newer agent getting in the business, you really have to be in it a certain amount of time to really get like your traction going and get up, and where people are going to actually think about real estate and think of you. It takes time for that to happen.
I say where the rubber hits the road.
Yeah.
Where the rubber hits the road takes a while. And it did for us too.
Number one is brand yourself. Whatever that brand is, have it be something that they can connect with. And just put lots of content out there. Again, that passive aggressive means just be posting things, talk about real estate, but in like an enlightening and heartening way. Like, just, I don't know, what would you say?
Be positive and be inspirational, and I think be professional as well, and be specialized.
Well, we talk a ton about value, and I think sometimes we get confused that our value is just in our ability to write contracts, and we have access to the MLS. yada, yada,
Right.
everything that we all have. But the truth is our value proposition is unique to us. While there may be some overlaying pieces of value with other real estate agents, our overall picture of value is ours. And from what I'm hearing from you guys, a huge piece of your value proposition with people is it goes outside of the real estate transaction. It's a connection, it's friendship, it's being uniquely intrigued with what's going on with their life and sincere about that friendship, and then the real estate becomes as a result of it. Am I seeing that correctly?
I would 100%
One
agree.
thing I talked to my coach about, because I do suggest coaching to anybody who really wants to push themselves and get to the next level. But one thing is I always was trying to figure out that balance between personal and business. And I've come to realize that it really is entwined. There's no separation of the two. Because if you're in a relationship business, you have to get personal with people, and you can't just be all up in their business. You need to let them be all up in yours too. So if you're very conservative and you only want to share certain things, just share like little small certain things, but you need to be a person that they can connect with,
relate to.
I
think if anything, too many people go in there and they think that, okay, sales is an idea of, oh, I got to be this. And you're put in this box of what you have to be, which is the exact opposite. Get in my box, sister. When we go, by the way, guys, just a little fun, we're going together, same box. No, but where it's so funny, actually, it comes back to, I remember your husband telling me when I first got in, ever since I've been in this business, I've done a 100+% increase, ever since I've gone in, which is insane. But I remember your husband telling me, like, are you kidding? I'm like, I'm not a salesman. I'm not a salesman. Like, I hate that word. That it's just not who I am. I hate the idea of saying I'm in sales, although I am. Yeah. Because to me, it's more of a service that I provide more than sales. But a lot of people in the business say it's sales. But I mean, I remember he told me, Amanda, you could sell an Eskimo ice. And I'm just like, no, I can't, because I took offense. And he's like, not in that way, like in your own way. And you won't even know that you're doing it, which to me now, I think years later, I take as a compliment. But at the time I was like, to me, it sounded snaky, like salesy. And I didn't love that. But well, I think it just comes down to, you just got to be yourself and find your own niche, to be honest.
Well, and I think when you think of the word salesman, you're thinking of somebody that's like pushing somebody to do what's not in their best interest, or just to make that next commission. And that's one thing with us, is we're all about the quality versus quantity.
Right.
And now that we are doing huge numbers, we are having to leverage out some of that stuff, which is an expense, but it's also an investment, because again, we want to maintain that reputation, and we truly do, at the end of the day, just care about our clients and their experience, because that feeling and then that emotion is what they're going to remember forever and ever, and relay that to all their family and friends when they talk about moving. And
well, and I think also the clients know when really you genuinely care. So like when it's coming from a place of really, I genuinely care. Like I tell my clients, I will work with you. If it takes 3 years to find the right house, I want you to love your house. And it's true. When they call me on, most of the time I listen to the point where it's sometimes the first house and we find it, they're like, oh my God, you're amazing, which is awesome. But we know now there's a lot of competition in the market, but they know that, hey, we're really going to wait till we find you the best one that really fits your needs and that you're going to love, because this is somewhere you're going to bring your babies home in. This is somewhere you're going to get married and be your first home. You're going to remember this amongst marriage, having babies, and death is one of the biggest monumental pieces of your life. But you know what I mean? So we are actually so blessed, and we come from a mindset of gratitude that we're even invited to be a part of something so monumental and such a big part of their life. And I think that they know that. We would never sell them a lemon to make $1. I'd rather go hungry. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they know that.
And the interesting thing is I see that in the client responses you guys get from people. I love when you guys post on social media what your clients are saying about you, or the comments down below if you post things. It's obvious that your clients love you, and that's something that doesn't just happen. It's a result. That's a lag measure of something that shows up. But something you were saying earlier that I think is significant that I'd like to spend a little bit of time on is how well you connect with your clients. which in turn creates the opportunity to help them in real estate, which in turn creates that raving fan. So I had a communication coach that every week we talked about connectivity. He said connectivity so many times that I went blue in the face just thinking of the word connectivity. But there's a lot of value in learning how to connect with people and creating that connectivity. And so I want to spend a few minutes talking about how you guys create that connectivity, because it's obvious you give your clients a phenomenal result. But initially, how do you create that connectivity? And I want to talk about like through your social media, through your client events, when you first come in contact with someone, through your referrals. Walk us through all those pieces of how you create that connectivity up front so that it's guaranteeing that raving fan at the end of the deal.
Okay.
So fortunately, a lot of our business is referral based. So you always end up having kind of like an in with that client through whoever the mutual person is, which really sets it up a lot easier. To where you're not doing a lot of the rapport that you normally would have to with a cold lead or incoming call or whatnot. And then I always ask them, you know, what's your goal? What's your story? To where people love talking about themselves. And then you're going to find out what's important.
Obviously. This whole show's about us. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
So really, we try to figure out what's important for them, what their goal is, where they've been, their past experiences, and how we can help. So that's obviously number one. And then we obviously create lots of opportunities for them to either see us on social media or to see us face to face.
Person. Yeah.
So we really tend to actually like either doing videos if it is going to be, you know, not face to face, so they connect with you and your personality, or we prefer to do a lot of face-to-face stuff, which does take time, you know, setting up and putting that stuff together, but it's invaluable, the investment that you put into that.
I think like to answer some of your questions, we do like every other month we'll send out a flyer with our faces on it. We do client appreciation events, and we do
new headshots every other month. Don't.
We do a lot of educational classes online and in person at like Treo, the old folks home. We go in there and try to teach them about downsizing and things like that. Or online, we come in and we do a lot of stuff on our Facebook recently where we're doing like a panel where it's almost like the Today Show or whatever with my Utah agents, and we bring in very educational content and people that we love and respect in the community and in the industry to talk about specific things, because I feel like, you know, education is key with us. If I can spend, I think, an hour up front on the phone, a half hour on the phone with them, and just get to know what are their wants, needs, and let them talk about them, and then also educate them on what it is that they don't know about and how we can best serve them. I think bringing a value to them, and whether it's we meet them in the grocery store and we overhear a conversation, or if it was a referral, and thank God we get a lot of them, so it is a little more them coming to us. But I mean, also just being at certain places, people know us by putting our name and content out there, that they automatically spark that conversation with us, which is awesome too, because then you know people are thinking of you. You know, and we do that through all those variety of ways, mailers, Facebook.
So let's go into some of those since people don't know. So we really do want to try to do 33 touch is what KW calls it.
But we designed
literally,
touch.
Ours is 56. So we're going to touch you, and we're going to touch you a lot.
Like all the time. All the time.
But we always want to say, okay, is this something that I would want to get or I would want to see? So just because they're like, oh, send this out or do this, make it to what you would want it to be about. So it's not just another junk thing. Like one thing I would say, if you're sending out postcards, don't do the little cheap small ones. Do the jumbo size ones. So that's like a little small tip, but I promise you they're going to stand out. If you're doing stuff for the holidays, do like literally, I just sent out a Valentine's poem postcard. Ended up getting a client that went cold last year that called me and said, oh my gosh, that was the cutest poem. I mean, it sounds super silly, but then she ends up calling me. We ended up getting her home listed because of that simple little poem card that she loved and put up on her fridge. And now I have it under contract today. You know what
It
I
wasn't
mean?
easy. Our 56 touch was not easy to design. It took
Time.
It took like a month and a half for us to really, especially with our busy schedules, to really plan it out. And we're still kind of getting it because it's new to us to be doing those things. However, it's definitely working.
Yeah.
I think that the time is worth the investment.
We try to do like one email newsletter a month, which isn't, none of this is really like, oh my gosh, I've never heard that before. But it's having the systems and really implementing it, because you can have great ideas, but they're just going to be great ideas if you actually don't take action. So that's our thing this year that we're improving on, is really taking action. So we want to send out postcards. We want to do emails. We've already been great at doing our client appreciation events. See, I can't even say it.
It's okay.
Okay, but one thing that I would say with client appreciation events, if I can even say that right, is one thing that we do different is we do pies and poinsettias every Thanksgiving, like literally that Monday, Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Everybody who's bought a home that year or is under contract set to close after Thanksgiving, we send them a web form to fill out to order a pie or poinsettia. And me and Amanda together go to
every client's house. That's a lot. We went to 141 houses last year, the two of us. That's a lot of time out of ours. Actually, we took the whole week off.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah.
But it's so awesome because I love it. You get that face time in front of the client. B, they're showing off their home. By the time that happens, normally they're somewhat settled in. C, they have a lot of family and friends over during that week that are in town, so it kind of gets you in front of them as well. And then not only that, that just puts you in front of their face, top of mind, so when they are at holiday parties or whatnot, or people talking about what's your New Year's resolution for next year.
Oh, you're gonna buy a house? Actually, these are from our realtor. Weird, and really we do it out of the goodness of our heart. But I mean, everything you do, everything that you invest, you're going to expect a return on, or you should, to run your business correctly. You know what I mean? So really we want to do that anyways. But the cool thing is because of your good intentions, it does come back full circle plus some.
And then we have been we've been doing since last year, quarterly homebuyer lunch and learn seminars, just where anybody can show up. We have our preferred lender there, who's also my husband. So he can talk about the financing aspect. We talk about the ins and outs with home buying. And then that way people are less scared because they're more knowledgeable, because a lot of times they're scared and nervous about what it all entails, when it's really not that scary when you break it down step by step.
Right.
And we offer that for free. I mean, you don't charge anything, of course. We've even had people show up that already have agents.
But they just knew that I could educate them better.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So they literally come, and we don't care at the
or
end.
They wanted a free lunch, but I like to think the first one.
But we have gone that way, and we've closed them from doing that.
Yeah.
Like Amanda was saying, I go every month and do a downsizing seminar at old folks like retirement facility. And
I stopped doing it. I used to do it with her, but then it was me. I like a little more.
I'm good with old people. If you have any old people referrals, I can handle them. I love me an old man.
Hey, I love them all. Old, young, whatever. I just like fun ones.
So that's what you can tell too with our personalities. We are different. So we make a great team because I can handle a certain type of personality and client style, one that's a little bit more
I think
like
we both
LCD.
can handle both. It's just where we shine is the yin to the yang. Yeah. Shannon has a little more, business professional, straight-laced, reserved, and me, I'm a little more obviously like wild and energetic and a lot of hand movements and hugs and high fives. But I definitely would say that we are both very, very educated on what it takes for both buyers, sellers, old, young, fun, not fun type of clients. However, that does help because together we do come full circle. For any type of client. We have someone that fits their needs for sure.
Another cool thing that I'm really excited that we're going to be doing too is we have a bunch of clients that have bought homes that necessarily weren't very pretty or beautiful, but they saw the potential, and they have put in a lot of elbow grease and done, full major remodels to where we're actually going to start doing like a docu-series type thing on their remodel progress of making a house into a home. And again, that gets you in front of them. they love showing off all of the hard work that they've been doing and how they've turned that house into a home. So really, we're just thinking of kind of outside of the box things
that fit our style. That, you know what I mean? That fit what interests us. What interests us? What did they do to that house? Like when we're sitting there and we're like, oh, you could do this and you could do that. Well, now we've helped them hook them up with a contractor, and now it's getting to the finish line, and it's like, that's exciting for us too. Like, you know, I definitely want to take time out of my day to go see that. We always say making a house a home. Well, that's like, now it's a home. Like, let's go see your home. Like, I don't want to just see your house.
And then they're going to share it, obviously, on Facebook to all their friends. I mean, literally, I don't even know where our business would be without Facebook. So if you're not on Facebook, do it. I know there's many other platforms, like people are starting to Snapchat coming soon, homes, and like Instagram and stuff like that. It's like, use what works for you, but I would have to say
probably do
Facebook has been our #1 platform for referrals and to generate business.
And just to stick in front and stay in front of our clients. You know, that on top of if they couldn't come to a client appreciation event, that we always throw out an invite to all of them. We try to do how many client appreciation? Four major client appreciation events a year. And then on top of that, every other month we send out a mailer. Then once a quarter, we do the buyer lunch and learns, plus every month the downsizing seminar. Plus every month we do is that every first Tuesday of the month, our Facebook? Or is it every other Tuesday?
2 weeks.
Every other Tuesday, sorry. It's so often with all these things, I don't even remember when all it is. I just know I'm always busy. Every 2 weeks, yeah.
No, I love what you guys are saying. I think it's an interesting point you're making, that you have a quantity of touches going out. I mean, you guys have gone even from a 33 touch to a 56 touch, which really the number's not important. It's the message you're giving. But I think we live in a world right now where it's so easy to get touched or touch people through social media and mail and all these different ways, that people are becoming numb to the message, where our first inclination whenever we get reached out to now is almost like, I don't want to give it attention, other than we do want to give it attention, where it used to be we wanted to give it attention and then chose not to give it attention. So I think you hit a really critical piece right now, is we have to be very clear on what our message is and what that value is, and make sure that every single one of your touches matches your message, which you guys do so well. And as you outline all your different client events, your social media, all these pieces, it really matches who you guys are top to bottom. Because I think if you did something canned in the middle of that, it would almost cause your people to be like, wait, what is this? This doesn't match them. This isn't them.
Like, this is, now they're changing. Like,
well, and that's what I'm saying. Just because you're supposed to be sending it out doesn't mean, oh gosh, I have to get it out. If it's not right, you might as well not send it out at all. Like, literally, because then they are going to start unsubscribing to your emails, or telling you like how Colton Lindsay gets hate mail. They take me off your stuff.
But we love him.
I want people to want our stuff. So we do market update, just graph, like really simple graph. Here's where the market's at every quarter.
Here's things in the community that you could be doing that are fun. Here's things that we're doing, because we actually, everything we do with passion, for sure. And I think, and a purpose, you know, but really I think where we start in our business is we really care about our clients. Like, it's not even looking at it. I mean, yes, we run it like a business or whatever, but we do it with the intentions of really loving our clients, because they're not just a client. They are our friends. They are our family. They're like family. Like, literally, like,
they even say,
we love them, and they come over. They want to come over and hang out, you know, all the time. Like,
we say we don't want to break up after closing, because that's one thing we got, is people say, oh my gosh, we were so connected to you before and during, that after closing it felt like a breakup. And that was a good criticism or feedback back, that I was like,
criticism.
Whoa, I don't want people to feel like we're breaking up after closing. So how do we still engage them? And you know what I mean? So they still feel like they're a part of the family and team and all of that. Yep. So that's why we're starting to roll out more things to keep that engagement going.
Well, because we want it too. It's just, you know, when you do such high production, it's hard to have time for, let alone your own family, plus all these other things. So, I mean, literally it is planning it out that is huge. And that's helped us a lot this year, I think, is just having a business plan rather than winging it by the seat of your pants. Which is
sometimes fun to add more things in. If you're like, oh, I just thought of this great idea. Of course, you can add it in.
We're actually going to be rolling out some more cool stuff, but we'll share that on next year's.
That's awesome.
We do a lot of random acts of kindness too, you know, that also brings it to where, you know, people love to feel like they're engaged for a bigger cause as well. And that is something we are very passionate about, is giving back, because we were given so much in this life. We've earned it, but we've also been blessed. So we want to go out there and bless other people who are less fortunate than us. And I think, you know, for instance, there's two things that I guess we could point out that we just started. One was my Easter basket thing this year.
That was awesome.
You know, and that was just random, and that was just me, raw and genuine from the bottom of my heart. I called the homeless shelter, and there was, you know, 3 people a few months ago, and then all of a sudden this homeless shelter, kids. I called to drop off Easter baskets this year, and I was going to drop off. There was only 2 kids when I called last. This year, I went on a Sunday and bought 3 Easter baskets, thinking that would be enough. So I called the homeless shelter and made sure that 3 was going to be enough. Found out, long story short, found out that there was 37 homeless kids in there. I did a huge post of me bawling. I still hate it. Like, it just, that kind of shit just touches my heart. But so I did a call to action amongst our sphere of influence out of our clients, past friends, and things like that. And within 24 hours, I had about, how many people did we have show up?
30 plus.
Like 35, 40 people showed up to the homeless shelter, because I said, even if you can't pitch in, I'll buy all the baskets. But I want all the people there to help give back to these people. So one, these kids know that there's so many people out in the world that make them feel loved, that they didn't even know love them. Love them. You know, they need to know that they're loved. And one, we can do it. Plus, when you do something in a big group, it just has a bigger ripple effect. And I feel like, you know, those are things that people need to do and implement in their business. Is, you know, we can make all this money as agents, but what are you going to do with the money?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it? Like,
it's not the money, it's what the money can do.
Well,
and not just for you, but to give back, and people will see that and appreciate
in ways
it.
that you're passionate, you know, and other people are passionate about that as well, which I think then in turn, it was unintentional, but in turn starts getting a bigger following. You know what I mean? Just by being yourself and being a good person and being good at business.
And hashtag spreading the love.
Hashtag spread the love.
Well,
you know,
let me ask you guys these questions, because I just think the charitable events you guys do just is so fits into your message and your value proposition that, in fact, that first weekend I met you guys in Dallas, you guys were looking for opportunities to be charitable in a city you were visiting for the week, which was awesome and just really impressed me. So I think all that matches you really well. We're drawn towards the end of our time. I've got one question I want to ask you. Before I do, if any of you listening have questions, please be sure to type them in the chat section if you want us to address anything with the ladies before we end the webinar. But one of the things I want to ask you guys is, you guys started talking today, you outlined when you first got into the business, Mandy, you did 2 transactions. That same year, Shannon, you did 18. You had been doing it for a little bit longer. So here you are, 20 transactions together that year. And last year you did 150 about deals. So again, for some people looking at that, they could say, man, I'm kind of stuck in that 2 to 10 transactions a year, and looking at you guys doing 150 transactions a year, it's, and all these things you're doing are awesome. But if you had to give them a piece of advice of where to start, like how do they start to build the machine that you guys have and the relationships you have? How do they start today?
Answer your phone. Answer your phone. Like, you have to be available. No, like, you know, even at the level of success we're at, I'm a slave to my phone still. And once I trust my team and talent enough to hand it 100% over, I will. But I mean, I think first and foremost, people want it. But like you said at the beginning, they want it, but they don't want to sacrifice what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you have to sacrifice, you know, not wanting to answer your phone or wanting a weekend off and knowing, hey, you're not going to get one. You know what I mean? You're not going to get a full weekend off. So I think first and foremost, answer your phone. And I would say my 3 things would be: answer your phone, be available, be honest, and be ethical, and be specialized. Really know your stuff, because I think as agents, you don't have to go and get continuing education, and you don't have to join classes like the KWYP or Women's Council for Litter or all these other things that you can go and get education at. But it's a choice for us because we want to maximize what it is that we're giving to our clients. You know what I mean? So in other words, we want to make sure that we go to them and they know that we know exactly what we're talking about and that we are the ones for them.
Awesome. Love
So
that.
I would probably say what's really helped me in my business is getting better at follow-up, because if I got a lead and they told me no, I ended up realizing it might be a no for now, but not a no for always. So I would have to say, just get really good at doing follow-ups and figuring out how to do your keep in touch campaigns with them and what works for them. I always tell people, look, no pressure at all. Like I use that saying all the time, no pressure, just when you're ready, I'm ready. And that really helps people because then you just keep in touch. And as soon as they are ready, they do think of you because you followed up so many times. And you always provide them with value when you're following up. You're just not like, hey, how's it going? You're saying, hey, listings are so low right now. You can even do it in the way of, I know you're not ready yet, but do you know of anybody else that maybe could be looking to sell? So it's just taking those blinders off and having an excuse to consult them on the market, how things have changed maybe since the last time you talked, and really just following up and staying in contact. Get your SOI list together and send them postcards. Try to get people's emails, send them Facebook private messages, stuff like that. Just
happy birthday, happy house anniversary. Like, just let them know that you're thinking of them and that you care.
Yeah. And one thing that I've realized too with our events on how to get them to actually RSVP and stuff like that.
We do a couple things.
So I always send it out in the newsletter. Then we do a bomb video email to make it so it's personable. And then we'll do an easy text, which is like 5 cents a text message. Just go to easytexting.com. You can upload all of your SOI list. You can do just buyers, just sellers. I have a bunch of like the whole board.
NWAR.
Yeah, the realtor list there. And I send out mass group text messages because you want people to you just want them to see what's coming up. Sometimes they delete your newsletter. So then
sometimes we get hate mail off those texts. Other agents saying, can you take us off? And we're like, with a hot market like this, you would think you would want the brand new listings to come to you every time so that you can glance at it.
But we use it for our clients too, to let them know, hey, this is coming up. Here's the link to RSVP, because how many times are people just on their phone all day versus email?
Yeah.
So, but one thing that I've noticed is that you also want to send a personal text message
or call
from your phone or call. And that really makes them feel like they're not just another number, and by you personally inviting them. And now they've already seen it probably a couple times, so they kind of know about it and aren't like, oh, what's up, blah, blah, blah. But then they feel personally connected to coming, and we ended up having a huge turnout at our last event.
Yeah.
Primarily because of those personal one-on-one texts or phone calls.
I think there was like 100 people.
So
yeah.
That's awesome. So a couple of the big key words that have stuck out to me as I've made my notes here from what you guys have been saying is value, authenticity, sincere, brand, connectivity. I mean, those are the words we've kept saying over and over and over again, which I think totally encompass you guys. The one that's really sticking out to me out of that list is authenticity. All these things that you're saying to do and that you guys have done on a regular basis, at a systematic basis now, it's that authentic message behind it. And I think that's one thing that I'd like to see more agents do is sit back, take a couple breaths and say, what value am I bringing different than everybody else? What is my authentic message? And then it's almost like all these other things stack on top of that. It becomes easier to say, okay, now I can reach out and touch people on a systematic way or on a regular basis because I know what my message is. Mm-hmm. And do you guys have any thoughts around that, or a way that you came up with what your message was or what your value is, that there was some clarity around that?
Trial and error.
I think it's just who I think, honestly, that's just who we are and what we stand for. We just love
for us to be ourselves. And we don't want to be like everybody else.
We love to be fun, but we love to be successful, and we love to change people's lives for the better, and we want to change our lives for the better. And And so honestly, I just think that just kind of came natural. I don't think it was like, oh, that's our message. It just is who we are.
But I will have to say, I took the CRS business planning course like probably 3 or 4 years ago. And that was a huge mind shift for me of I'm not just kind of doing this to do this and I make good money. That's really when I was like, this is a business. I came up with our mission statement. I ended up realizing a lot of fundamentals that needed to be changed in order to bring our business to the next level, but still while being ourselves.
Awesome. Well, you guys are incredible. Anything else you want to share with everybody before we end?
Really quick.
If you guys have anyone moving to Utah and needs some really amazing agents, then think of
or up north. So I would have to say though, get involved with other realtor, things like KWYP. Get involved, network with those people. They could be your referral partners. I've gotten referrals from people down in Salt Lake that have clients that are up here in the Ogden and Layton area. So take your blinders off. These people are your colleagues. Make friends with them. Engage with them just like you would a client, because you never know. Those could be your next referrals coming in.
Well, you know what I do even is I send a review at the end of every transaction to other agents, other title, other lenders that I don't normally work with. And I use that in my portfolio in case I'm in a multiple offer scenario, so that these other agents, if they don't know me already or haven't worked a transaction with me already, I have a walking billboard that's like, or I have a portfolio that says, here you go, this is what everyone else thinks of me.
And also, if
you need that in this market.
Yeah. If you need a copy of our 56 touch schedule, because we're pretty much going to just keep doing the same thing unless things need to be changed.
Right.
But if you want a copy of what we're doing and what we're planning to send out when and how and all of that, I'm happy to give that to you. So just email me.
Just make it your own authentic way. Just kidding.
That's awesome. So what's the best way for them to look for that?
Just my utahagents@gmail.com, and I'll respond back with
or Amanda my utahagents@gmail.com. Awesome. And I'll make I'm just kidding.
Awesome. Well, you guys are incredible. Thanks so much for your time. I know you're busy. I know I'm glad to be part of your world and all those people that love you. So I feel lucky to be in association with you guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
We love it, guys.
Thanks everyone for coming. Look for our next event, and we look forward to looking at seeing you guys at the next KWYP event. Take care, everyone. Bye, girls. Thanks.
Bye.